Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Black Ice Esports podcast. My name is Adam Kilbo, aka Nerdy Hydra, and I'm your host today. Today, joining me, I have two guests here. The first one is Bill, aka DollaBill. How are you today?
I'm doing super great, just living the dream. We're hanging out at home and having a good day.
And perfect. And the second guest I have today is Tyler, aka MightyLeader. How are you, Tyler?
I'm doing absolutely wonderful. Today has been an absolute dream.
Perfect. It's actually kind of funny. I need to go into the backstory a little bit of this podcast. I intended actually to get two of the people that are on our shooter team, aka Tyler here, and then also Aaron. And I actually mixed it up, but I think this will actually be pretty fun. So, Bill, you're part of our Black Ice Esports team. What kind of games do you play?
I play fighting games, and I just gotta say, I do think this is gonna be a good, fun little contrast we got going on. Because Tyler shoots people, and I punch people, so yeah, it'll be fun.
Yeah, maybe it'll be like a fun comparison, comparing
Mm.
like Bruce Lee versus Tom Cruise or something like that, like a Die Hard movie versus a Kung Fu movie. I think there is a
Sure.
lot of comparisons to make. That shooting games and fighting games can be similar, yet of course they're completely different at the same time. So yeah, I'm just kind of curious then, of your background, Tyler. How long have you been playing, and what kind of games do you play?
Oh man, I've been playing shooters mostly my entire life. Started way back on like N64 with GoldenEye and things like that. Where I really started like realizing I was a decent shot, it was the Halo series. I became really fascinated with that style of play. Then moved on to Call of Duty, where I just enhanced and developed different kinds of skills for the different types of game modes. Um, so yeah, that's something like that.
Yeah, definitely. Is it like the first Halo that came out that you really got into, or is it a later one?
It was absolutely the first one, but definitely the one that I absolutely fell in love with, as far as competitive wise, was definitely Halo 3.
Oh, definitely. I know I spent my fair share of time in all the Halo series, and I remember all of them quite fondly. And then, Bill, what have you
Mhm.
been playing, and how long have you been playing fighter games?
So the main fighter that I play right now is Dragon Ball Fighters. I mean I've been playing games since I was 4 years old. How old am I? 21 years ago is when I started playing games. My dad got me Pokemon, the blue version originally, so that I would shut up during car rides and stuff. Um, but yeah, all my life, more in the recent years, I think started playing fighting games in 2014. So fairly recently, my employee, because I was managing a GameStop at the time. My employee was like, we talked about Smash a little bit, and he was like, "Yeah, there's Smash tournaments in the city. He's like, you should come down with me," and I did, and like the rest was history. Don't play so much Smash anymore. More on the Dragon Ball Fighters kick now. But yeah, that's kind of been my history as far as fighting games is concerned.
Yeah, definitely. And I bet like it changes a lot too in the passive fighting games. Like, what have you started with? So you started with Smash, and what are some other games that you've gone
Hmm.
through to get to this point?
I mean, I played a little bit of Tekken. I've tried to get into Guilty Gear and Blaze Blue, but those games are hard, and I play easy games like Dragon Ball Fighters. So, um, uh, those are the main ones. Like Smash was my first like big one that I got competitively into. I used to play, the old Dragon Ball fighting games, and mostly anime stuff. I used to play Naruto fighting games as well. So little bit
Mm-hmm.
of everything. But yeah, Dragon Ball Fighters is the first one that I've like competed in that I've done really like competitively well at as far as tournaments and stuff are concerned.
That's awesome. So I kind of want to go into this discussion then, and what you guys think are similar and different about all these different types of genres of games, all these fighting games, all these shooting games. I mean, talking to both of you, and you both say you have a history with different games, so it's, I guess, talking about it, there's some sort of skill that's kind of coming from the past of these games that you're able to translate into newer games. Do you agree?
Mhm. Yeah, I mean,
Absolutely.
right. I would say so. Tyler, sounds like you had something to say. I'll let you go first.
Oh, sure. I was just gonna say, like, I've played all different styles of games. I try to play fighting games and think I know what I'm doing. I'm really just button mashing at the end of the day. But I mean, I've played racers, fighters, shooters, things like MMORPGs, um, things like Dark Souls, Skyrim, stuff like that. And all those different styles of games and different genres teach you definitely different skills to a certain extent that you can extend over to pretty much anything that you really wish to.
Right, and I would totally agree. I mean, there's some kind of at least mechanical hand dexterity skill that you of course have to have when playing video games, and I think
Hmm.
there's a portion of it that can be learned, but there's also a portion of it that you are just kind of naturally predisposed to. And you can carry skills from any video game. Like for instance, when I was still playing Smash, my boss was like, "All right, listen, I just got into Dark Souls 3. You got to get into Dark Souls 3 with me." And I was like, "That's a hard game, Dave. I don't play that." But he pestered me enough, and I got into it. And like, I would say that playing Dark Souls made me a better fighting game character because it teaches you patience, it teaches you hitbox mechanics and item preservation and bar preservation. So I like I think that there's a lot of comparison to be had. People say that different fighting game genre, or excuse me, different game genres really don't mesh well, but I totally disagree. I think you can become better in any game by playing any other game as long as you focus on the right things.
Yeah, definitely. I think I can see that kind of comparison. I'll try and make one for myself as well. So I'm someone who plays a lot of Arma a lot of the time. And Arma, even though it's a shooter and you're doing all this milsim stuff, it's not necessarily a Twitch shooter like Call of Duty or Apex or Battlefield would be. It's in terms of shooting, it's not terribly skill intensive, and there's a lot of artificial difficulty to it. But I think it's like a teamwork simulator, and you have to really work together with your people and make sure you're around some allies and have people covering you and all that. And I think that really translates well to other shooter games that I've played. It's a really interesting. I just thought of that right now. Like all these games that you can learn these skills in, and they'll just translate on over.
Mm. Yeah, yeah. I mean, it's wild. The things that you can pick up in one game that just translates over to the next one. So it's a lot of fun. Like I try to find like, oh, what's the new? Like me and my one of my roommates have been really into Divinity 2 lately, which I don't know if you guys know about. It's great game. Huge RPG. Um,
Oh, I loved it, Mandy. It's a
yeah,
great
yeah, yeah.
game. It's funny. I played the intro to it about 10 different times, but I really haven't gotten past that.
Sure. And a lot of that's the same story with a lot of people. Like it's kind of hard to get into, but like same thing, like preservation of moves and like different cooldown timers and stuff. Um Everything translates into something, I guess is what I'm getting at.
Yeah, definitely. Even if it's like more fun, creative things, I think you can learn something from these games. I don't know. Does playing Divinity make you a better a gamer in other ways? I don't know. I kind of think about like playing Dungeons and Dragons, and that might make me
Sure.
more fun, like as in like trying to role play in a game, playing Skyrim in a
Hmm.
different way. That doesn't
Hmm.
necessarily translate competitively, but it can really make your experience different. I think in some of these games as
Hmm.
well.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, me and some pals have an off and on D&D campaign going, and like, yeah, playing D&D has made me approach situations in Divinity differently, and playing Divinity has made me approach situations in D&D like differently. Like, it's a give and take. It's a two-way road. One thing you pick up in one game isn't necessarily only translatable to one, but maybe many.
Hmm. It's kind of fun. Like, how do you think like there's a difference then between these two games? Of I know fighters generally you tend to only rely on yourself as the only person in the game. There are
Hmm.
some situations where that's not true. Like there's some Super Smash Bros.
Hmm.
Versions where you can do a 2v2, whereas in shooters having a team is usually the norm. Not always, but do you think that like difference of like having a team, not having a team, uh, I guess makes these genres way different in terms of how you would approach them, how you'd play them, all these things?
Yeah, I mean, I think so. I personally hate playing team games just because like if I'm more of the mindset that like if I lost, I lost. It's me. And I hate kind of bringing other people down on that. So that's my thought anyway. But yeah, I think there is a big difference.
Hmm. That's an
Yeah,
interesting point. Uh, I've never heard of that side of it. Of you don't want to bring other people down.
Mm.
I I agree and I slightly disagree. Just a little bit. I personally prefer playing as a team, um, because just because one person goes down or they take their lane a little too quick or a little too slow and it causes things to kind of fall down, you still have time to get back together and take the game back or the round back,
Mhm.
because just because one person goes down doesn't mean it's going to bring everyone else down. That's why we have everyone as on the team as a team. We're together no matter what happens
Mhm.
at the end of the day. So I like to make sure that
Word.
my teammates feel fine with whatever the result may be.
Sure, I like that.
Do you think there could be more stress being put on you from uh, playing a game alone and then losing yourself versus having a team and then accidentally bringing your team down, whether you're just having a bad day or you're tilted or something like that?
I think there is opportunity for that maybe. So I as a person am just a very chilled out person. I go to tournaments with the mindset like I'm not here to win. I'm just here to have fun and play my best, and like that's what you got to do. Um, so if I do end up losing, like yeah, it is all on me, but I'm not like broken up about it. I do know, like just from talking to other players in the community and having these conversations with them, that like that's not the same mindset for everyone. Like I've talked to people who like after they're out of the tournament, they just go to their hotel room and kind of de-stress for the rest of the day, I guess is a good way to put it. But
Mm,
yeah, I just live for the moment, and if the guy beats me, I cheer him on until he's in finals.
sure, yeah. And a weird question that just came out the top of my head. Do you think that has generally anything to do? I know you said you're a bit of an older competitive player. Do you think that's like maybe something that came with age of not having to be stressed out as much and worrying about that?
There's probably some validity to that. I liken it just to who I am as a person, but
Mm-hmm.
no, I think there's probably some validity to that. Like, I've been I'm not like super old in the community. I did Smash for a while, and now I'm on the Dragon Ball Fighters train. But um, you know, I think it's more of a personality thing, personally. Just that if you're the type of person who's gonna pop off when you win or sulk when you lose, you're going to do that. But other people, myself included in this part, just want to take it a match at a time.
Mm-hmm.
I think experience also has a lot to do with that too,
Mm.
because I think
Hmm.
someone going into like a first big competitive tournament versus someone who's done it 100 times over, even if they're the same personality wise, they would react in a very different way.
Hmm.
It's almost like that one saying is that if you're experienced, then you've failed more times than a novice has even tried.
Right,
Yes.
right.
Wow. Yeah. It's really interesting looking at that as more of a personality thing. I want to. Do you think it's like a personality thing that drove you towards the specific genres that you chose? Do you think that there's a, I don't know, more of a shooter personality versus a fighting game type of personality?
I think there's some validity to that. I think it's also like a big part of the genre. Like every every competitive player, whether shooter, whether racer, whether fighting game player, uh, one theme that I've found among them is that just through talking to them is like the games that they're playing now competitively are the same types of games that they play growing up. I know, like growing up, I played a lot of Tekken. I played, like I said, the old Dragon Ball and Naruto fighting games, a bunch of stuff like that. And here I am now, and I played other games as well, of course. But I
Hmm.
think that's just kind of like what I was kind of like the parents would hand you this game and say, "Ah, go play, get off of me." Um, and that's just kind of what I kind of grew into. And same thing with the other people I talked to. They're like, "Oh yeah, what got you into fighting games? Oh, I like this and this and this." But also, I played this as a kid. Um,
Mhm.
so I think there's a lot of validity to that. In that I don't think like a personality decides what type of game you play. I think it's just kind of where you came from, more
I
more so than personality.
I would agree on that because at the end of the day, I play all different genres of games, but the one
Mhm.
thing that I always come back to is the shooters.
Yeah, and then you think like it's like just from oh yeah, it's like maybe the first few games that you were handed, and this one just really clicked with you and just kept clicking with you over and over again.
Yeah,
Mhm.
I would say there is a lot of validity to that actually.
Yeah, sure.
Mhm. And like we can all hang out. I can I don't think there's any like personality traits. The other thing is because like as a team, as a Black Ice team, when we've all like spent time together and hung out, I've never ever butt heads with anyone. I've never gotten like a bad vibe from someone or anything, or that I didn't get along with. And like sometimes with someone with an antithetical personality to yourself, that does happen. So, yeah, I would just say, no matter what game you play, uh, you can have whatever kind of personality you want. And I personally, I think it's more just what you grew up with.
Sure. Yeah. I think when I mean personality, I don't necessarily mean that it's, I
Hmm.
don't know, like a defining trait necessarily. I think maybe there
Hmm.
could be like some differences, more subtle, I suppose, that would lead you
Sure.
there. Not necessarily saying, oh man, shooters can't get along with fighters, they'll go
Right.
out every time they meet. There's a
I
lot of friends I have
I
that are completely different people and we get on swell.
Sure. I guess to that point, maybe the reason that I play Dragon Ball Fighters rather than like Mortal Kombat or something like that is that I'm a huge nerd
Hmm.
who loves Dragon Ball. So I mean, there's some validity to that. Yeah, for sure, for sure.
Honestly, that seems fair. I think I've picked up a couple games. I mean, Warhammer games because I'm a big old nerd and I love that universe.
Heck
So
yeah.
yeah, I absolutely
Beautiful.
love playing like Vermintide or Total War Warhammer or
Mhm.
Space
Sure.
Marine. Those are all amazing games.
Yeah.
Hmm.
And I think one of the things I love about the whole Black Ice thing right now is that I could go to Bill here and ask him to teach me
Hmm.
something about fighters, and he would probably be more than happy to do so. Or if he came to me and asked me,
Hmm.
I want to learn how to be a little bit better at shooters, we'd be more than happy to do that as well. So
Hmm.
Hmm.
we, and at the same point too, we also respect each other's choices and what we're good at, and we respect that they're good at that point. I just think
Hmm.
that's such a wonderful thing.
Hmm. Hmm.
Yeah, totally agree. Like for instance, just as an example, like in our fun little chat the other day, I was having a small get together at my place, and I posted in the group chat. I was like, "Hey, anyone who wants to come over is welcome to." Yeah, I think we have a nice little family here, which is fantastic. I think, as Tyler said, we all respect each other's lanes, and yeah, Tyler, if you ever want to learn Dragon Ball, man, I got you. And
Oh
I
man, good luck. Good luck teaching me.
I will say, my roommates and I have been thinking about getting into Warzone, so I might hit you up for that one sometime.
I'd be more than happy to play.
Word. All right, sounds good.
And that's always a fun thing to do. Playing with somebody who's like really good, and then I don't know, it just feels good sometimes. They teach you really well. You have a
Mhm.
lot of fun with that. I know I play a
Mhm.
lot of League of
Mhm.
Legends. I've met quite a few people that have been really high in those diamond tiers or so. And every time I play with them, they're just having a ball. They're playing weird stuff, but we're making it happen.
Mhm.
Do you think like I mean, there's a lot of similarity I think between building skills in each game. So you have to
Mhm.
learn some fundamentals with shooters.
Mhm.
I don't know. The thing I could when I think of a shooter in terms of skill is getting like the aim. What is the aim? I don't know. Just the ability
Mhm.
to flick on a head and tap hit and all that, versus
Mhm.
building skills in terms of learning combos, hitboxes, and all that in fighting games.
Mhm.
I mean,
Mhm.
do you think that they tend to be similar paths, or is there like a difference when like how you should apply them, and i- is it something like like an intuition you just have to build up in each of those types of games, those genres?
Yeah.
I would say possibly. I would definitely think that the paths are very similar, in a sense that obviously when you find something that you want to do and you want to get better at, you really kind of focus on that one thing, and you focus on that one game or one genre, and you just kind of pick apart the parts that you feel like you need to work at. Like aiming is a huge thing. I was playing on a 55-inch TV for a really long time, and I downsized to a nice 27-inch monitor, and I realized my snapping to be able to snap to targets is a heck of a lot faster
Mhm.
now versus on the 55-inch screen. I didn't really think it was actually that big of a difference,
Hmm.
but it actually is.
Right.
Um, as far as knowing like when to reload or knowing when to push or when to pull back, all those things for shooters are very very important. And of course communication is very very key. You got to know the call outs. Learning
Mhm.
the call outs in a new shooter is always probably the toughest thing,
Hmm.
as far as in my personal opinion, because and the other thing is too is playing with people, because I might call it one thing but someone might call it something else, so then trying to determine where they're talking about versus what you know it as can also be kind of tricky as well.
Right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's an interesting thing to bring up because I before like I would say like the path to getting good at a game, whether it's whatever game it is, I would say is very similar. But that's a good point. Like I don't really have the whole call out mindset or like if you put me in a shooter, I would have no idea what to say to other people to get them to figure out what I mean. So yeah, no, that's a good point. I will say, I think like in my opinion, Tyler, you tell me if you disagree with any of this, but um first step is learning mechanics, of course, like
Hmm.
learning, okay, this item or this character is good, this item or this character is good, and putting those things together to formulate a team that not only is good as far as meta is concerned, but also feels right for you because I think those are two very different things.
Yep.
Like a character or a gun or loadout or whatever can people who aren't you can tell you it's the best loadout in the game all day, but if it doesn't click with you, like it's just not going to work. Second thing you need to learn, and this one took me a long time, is patience. You
Hmm.
cannot just run into things and hope for the best because obviously that just doesn't work. I'm a very high energy person, so like that that took me a long time to learn. And then third is the niche stuff, the individual interactions, how when X character, X loadout does this thing, how does this other piece of equipment or character or what have you interact in this particular situation. That's really the niche of where the I think the competitive things come together because if you have all the other steps, if you have the mechanics down, if you have the patience, but don't know like what small interactions are going to work for you and which ones won't, that's where like the true like top level competitiveness comes into it because you won't be able to compete if you don't know those small niche things, at least against someone who does know them.
I would actually fully agree with
But
all of those.
right, but Tyler, like you said, uh call outs and stuff and communication is just something that I have no idea about. I know zero about it. So yeah, that's interesting. I like that.
Yeah, that seems to be the one place in fighting games, unless there's like a multiple player fighting game that comes out that becomes popular.
Mhm.
That I guess maybe isn't Super Smash Bros. Or unless you do play that Super Smash Bros. Team
Well,
battle, it doesn't seem to
r-
be much of a thing.
right. And that's there's I guess okay, so I said I don't know anything about it. I did used to when I play Smash, I played doubles a lot. And actually last obviously this last one didn't happen, but the one before that at a combo breaker, I entered Smash just on a whim, just doubles with a pal of mine who happened to be there. And we like for some reason we got ninth at combo breaker doubles, uh, which we didn't deserve at all. Basically, I was playing Cloud and he was playing Ganondorf. I don't know if you guys know anything about Smash, but
Hmm.
I
Hmm.
would just lock him down and Ganondorf would just smash him. And man, was that cheap! But ooh, boy, did it it worked and we got ninth. But that's the thing. Like if I was doing cross slash to lock someone down, I would yell at my buddy Alec and say, "Hey, I got him. Come womp him." Yeah, so I guess I do know a little bit about that just from like those fighting games where there are doubles in there.
Mhm.
Um,
Hmm. I suppose it's not necessarily a skill that needs to be built when you're not playing those doubles. But
right,
that's
right, exactly. If you're just playing singles, it of course doesn't matter.
I bet there's other soft skills that would take the place in fighters, but it's honestly from all the points that you two were mentioning, yeah, they both sound really different. Just the from the basics, like you said, or building mechanics to all the top level of like, all right, finding the niches. When do these things
Hmm.
when it work or not work? I mean, I'm thinking even when I'm playing League of Legends, that's something that sounds familiar to me. Is yeah, knowing those all those tiny little interactions and who has priority and what abilities get
Hmm.
stopped and what abilities won't get stopped by X defending ability, all that.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah, that's insanely interesting.
It's a lot of fun, I think.
Hmm.
I in fighting games specifically, I just live for those niche interactions. Like I, because you'll see something weird happen, you're like, what just happened? And then you got to take a replay and take it like frame by frame and figure out like, oh well, this move had lower priority, but it was outside of the hitbox, so it ended up hitting first. And yeah, I get a kick out of looking at those kinds of things.
Hmm. Yeah, awesome. Oh, that's amazing. It's great to get this discussion, and I think this is actually quite a fun podcast because of it. I
Mhm.
kind of honestly was like, oh my gosh, what am I going to do? I got a shooter and I got a fighting game player here. What am I going to do? But that's amazing. I'm really glad we had this discussion. I
Mhm.
do have some quick news to get to here. One little teaser that I do want to mention is that Black Ice is we're soon going to have a new physical space here. I'll see what I can do to get more information to you all soon, but that's basically, I think, all I can say. So I look forward to more announcements of that in here in the future. Secondly, there's going to be another StarCraft tournament hosted here on the August 22nd, which is a Saturday, and there's going to be a prize pool, like $15 prize pool, which is $10 for the first and $5 for the second place person. So look out for that here in the future. Otherwise, I guess we can talk about some game news here, because that's all the Black Ice news I have. Um, yeah, I know that you said, Tyler, that you're really into the Halo series. So how sad
Yep.
are you that the Halo Infinite's going to be delayed to 2021?
Crushed. I'm absolutely crushed. But on the flip side of it too, being someone who's worked for a video game company, I've worked for Activision for many years. Um, I understand how it, and why they're doing that. They want to make sure that it's the best possible release that they can make it. And with the whole COVID and Corona, kind of really affecting, well, everybody really, it kind of really put a damper in that. So they just want to make sure that it's the best to their own ability before it drops. So I do respect it. While it does hurt my soul very, very much, I respect the decision they made.
Hmm. Right, so Corona was the reason cited for the delay here, and it was a similar delay reason as well for The Last of Us Part 2 being delayed, as well as even some upcoming Destiny 2 DLC was also delayed to November, I believe, because of COVID as well. So I suppose this is a normal that we can expect here from the game that would have either been announced this year or the next. So
Mhm.
hopefully that we can get all those first day one titles that are going to be dropping with the Xbox Series X and the PS5. Hopefully those are still on time and good quality.
Mhm.
Otherwise, yeah, I don't know if you guys watch any streamers, but some big gaming news is like I mean, with the drop of Mixer, there's been quite a few people coming back to the Twitch platform. I don't know if you ever watched like Shroud or Doctor Disrespect or Ninja. Those guys are all coming
Certainly do.
back. Oh yeah.
Yeah, yeah, I
Well,
heard about Mixer getting the boot. So yeah, like I've talked to a few people, and some of them are I think are divulging into like Facebook gaming and YouTube
yep.
gaming as well. Because like from what I heard, and I like truth behind this or not, like some people just weren't happy with the relationship that they had with Twitch, and that's kind of what told them to go to Mixer in the first place.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, I'm all about looking for different options if that's what works for you. Do what you got to do.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, otherwise that's more of all everything that I had on news. In
Mm.
general, what have you guys been playing recently? I know you guys are into your main games. I don't know, is there anything else that you've been having a ton of fun with recently?
Oh, absolutely. I've definitely had my hands on Deep Rock Galactic.
Oh, really? It's
I've
like,
never
I
even heard of that one.
oh my gosh, that's a game that I've been picking up too recently. It's a
oh,
lovely
Oh.
game.
it's such a simplistic yet not simplistic yet just fun and game. I don't know what it is. Like if you ever played like Minecraft and you just love to do the
Sure.
mining, that's
Hmm.
all you do. But at the
Okay.
same time, like there's like I guess I would call them alien life, like bug
Ooh.
like creatures that are definitely trying to stop you
Yeah,
and
it's
hurt you, halt
They're trying to
progress,
stop you real bad. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I
really,
Mhm.
got
really
you.
bad. But
Yeah,
it's just so simplistic and it's so fun. I love it.
I absolutely love it. So if you're not familiar with it, Deep Rock Galactic is a four-person co-op game where you go and you're mining minerals, but at the same time, so you're four dwarves and you have completely different loadouts like machine guns or flamethrowers, or you're zipping around on because you're like the scout and you have like a grappling hook, and so you're going through all these caves, getting through these hordes of enemies. So it's like a Left 4 Dead-esque type of game, but something about it is so viscerally fun and enjoyable about playing these little dwarves that are just over the top. It's
That
every
sounds
single
fun.
time that they scream rock and stone. Like, it's just something fun about it.
It's so
I
great.
I don't know, like just kind of off topic. I don't really play the game a whole lot, but my roommate does a lot. Did you guys ever play EDF at all? Um, Earth
Unfortunately, I
Defense
haven't,
Force.
no.
Okay, so like you said, the Rock and Stone. It's some of the EDF. So it stands for Earth Defense Force. Some of the soldiers in it, just every once in a while, just they'll yell EDF. It's
Yeah.
hilarious. Like,
It-
yeah, just yell the branch of the military you're in as a war cry. That's
that's
great.
true. You don't hear like the Navy SEALs going like "Navy, yeah," whenever they're
Right,
like,
right, exactly.
kicking down a door or whatever.
ADF. Yeah, it's pretty fun.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Yeah, otherwise, what's come out recently, I've been playing a little bit of it, is Fall Guys. That's been a little fun. You play as like a little walking jelly bean in these. It's like a game show almost. It's pretty much branded like a
Hmm.
game show. It's super bright colors, super catchy soundtrack, and it's been so much fun.
Hmm.
It's
Yeah, me and a buddy of mine have been playing a lot of that. He had there was a small birthday party that he had at his place the other day, and we both just like railed on that all night. It was a lot of fun.
It's like something about like it's not a terribly complicated game necessarily. The best description I've heard is like a battle royale with like kind of like Mario Party esque mini games
Hmm.
where you got a bunch of people running around and all that. But it's so much fun despite that.
I would say the best description I could give it is a more targeted objective gang beasts. If you guys have played that.
Oh
Hmm.
yeah.
Yeah, kind of a similar vibe to that, but again, more targeted objectives.
Okay, because I definitely haven't gotten my hands on it just yet, but I've definitely been
Mhm.
looking at it.
Sure. Yeah, it's a lot of fun. If you like gang beasts, you'll love it.
Oh, Gang Beast is fantastic. I
Yeah,
remember
yeah.
watching like the trailers for that when it first came out. I was an assistant manager at a little GameStop, and I was like, "Man, I want this game. I want my hands on this right now." And I was upset that I couldn't have my hands on it at that time.
Yeah.
Yeah, Gang Beasts is like a really good comparison of it. I mean, it's different, but it's yeah, there's a lot of similarities there.
Hmm. For
And the
sure.
soundtrack is just so catchy, and the game's just so fun. I don't know, so it like screams like uh just like candy and sweet, and I don't know. It's just
Mhm.
like, oh, I could just stuff this in my mouth all day. Like it's the best. And then otherwise, besides that, I've actually found a little bit of resurgence in a game I haven't played in a long time recently. Yeah, I've started to play this game called PlanetSide 2. I don't know if you've heard of it.
Oh, I loved that game.
Oh
I
man,
was
yeah.
so big into it because it was a different s- it was a different setting shooter, but it was like a battlefield set in space.
Yeah, an
Hmm.
MMO shooter essentially.
Yeah, it was fantastic. I loved every aspect of that game.
And it's still, to a degree, kind of active still these days, which is awesome. Yeah, me and my friends, I saw they downloaded recently. I'm like, oh boy, here I go again. I just knew it. And all of a sudden, yesterday, I played it for like a 4-hour session. I was just like, this is great.
Very nice.
Yeah. Yeah, otherwise, besides that, I think we start wrapping this podcast up. So,
Sure.
yeah, I am Adam Kilbo, aka Nerdy Hydra. If you want to find me, you can find me on Twitch. My channel is Nerdy Hydra, and I have a YouTube channel of the same name. And you can also find me on Twitter. My Twitter handle is Adam Kilbo. Bill, give us your social media handles and where we can find you.
Yeah, so really the only big one I got right now is Twitter. I am at Bill Bill Gleason Gleason 3355. Working on getting a Twitch set up. Kind of on the slow road on that one, but yeah, follow me at Twitter.
Perfect. Tyler, where can we find you?
Well, because of the whole Mixer debacle, I don't have any platforms currently. I'm working on redoing my Twitch account that I've had for the last couple of years. So once I get running, I can certainly get that out to the people.
And lastly, for all of our info here at Black Ice, you can find us. Our website is blackice.gg. On Facebook, we have a Black Ice Esports page, and on YouTube, we have a channel under Black Ice Esports as well. On Instagram, you can find us at blackice.esports, and our Twitch channel is twitch.tv/blackiceclub. From here at Black Ice, we wish you a great day and have a good day. Oh my gosh, that was terrible. We'll keep it.
It was great. It was beautiful. You did a fantastic job.
All right. Have a good day.
Yeah. Thanks, guys.
Thank you.